Hey, budget fam, it's Jordan from Jordan Budgets. Welcome to a budget recap. We're actually going to focus on this video on September numbers. So, everything you see on the screen is my real life September budget. We're going to talk about how much I make on Etsy, talk about how I do Etsy and YouTube as my full time income, and how I budget that money. Let me know before we even get started. Go ahead and pause this video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the lighting, if you can see enough of me, if you need to see me be more animated, if you can read the screen just fine. The mic is definitely temporary. I can't find my good mic, but it's going to happen. If you can't tell, we're in a new space. This is my office space. It is very much in the works. And flashback to my call center days. Thank goodness I had this because I do have a mic that works better, but I couldn't just use the audio from the computer because this room is still so echoey right now. So let me know if the sound is okay, but this is definitely not our long-term solution. More importantly is, can you see the numbers? Can you see my face? Can you see everything else just fine? For this video, we are going to focus on my September real numbers and my budget and how I'm breaking everything up. But moving forward, we will focus on weekly recaps, on occasion, maybe a monthly overview. And eventually, you can see on this spreadsheet that I have, here we go. You can see on this spreadsheet that I have my work numbers, like some work expenses on this spreadsheet. Moving forward in future months, I have my own spreadsheet for work expenses. So maybe every once in a while, maybe once a month, we will focus a weekly recap more on the budget for the business the month before. Let me know what you guys think of that. I thought this would be a really easy way to check in with you guys, though, something I can realistically keep up with. Cash stuffings are really fun, really easy. This is something else that I can really easily have fun with and put up here for you guys for us to kind of chat about our real numbers and our budget. Before we start looking at my real numbers and kind of breaking this whole spreadsheet apart, I do just want to say, while cash stuffing is fun and cash stuffing is very much for me an important part of budgeting, just as important, if not more important, is tracking your expenses. This is how I've been doing that. I do have a personal, like a little planner. I don't have it with me right now, but just so you guys know, what I do is every single day, I kind of go through my accounts at the end of the night. I go through my receipts and I think about all of the expenses from the day and I write them in my planner for like that day. And then I go back weekly and do a little recap and put them on a spreadsheet like this one. So I'm a pen and I'm a pen and person. I am a pen and paper kind of person. So I work better by tracking it every single day. If I only did a spreadsheet like this, I would never do it. I would just close the spreadsheet and think about it a year later. What works for me is definitely writing it down every single day. And then I have it written in my planner to upload or transfer the information that I've been tracking all week onto this planner. So you're going to see, or a spreadsheet rather, you're going to see down here, I don't have daily expenses kind of tracked. I have for week one, I summarized the data from my planner and put work expenses there. Now, I do have another place with work expenses specifically where I am tracking exactly what it was and keeping up with receipts and stuff, but that's a conversation for a different time. Let me know if this video is shaky too. I don't know if you guys can tell. There we go. My desk has a wobble to it because I lost one of like the grounding pieces that you can change. It's a hot mess over here, but we're going to work with it anyway. And then you can see here, like week one, I've got groceries and fast food, cost $250 for that week. We will get to it. But my point is just, I am not somebody who goes through and tracks this every single day. I would find that overwhelming, but I do just write it in my planner, which for whatever reason, I don't find overwhelming. So tracking, I guess what I'm really trying to say is tracking is just as important as cash stuffing to me. How you do it doesn't matter. Just make sure you do it and find a routine that works for you. I am not somebody who really works well with spreadsheets, except for I do like to come in weekly and kind of update on here because it just keeps a clean record of the numbers and the information. Okay, so let's move over to the spreadsheet. If you see me looking to my side, it's just because I have dual monitors going on and some of my information is over here. But just to go ahead and get into this, now that we've talked about kind of what I'm doing here, I do have my total income as $4,000. Now, I know you guys can't see the information over here because my face is in the way, but just trust me that it says on the 1st and the 15th, I gave myself $2,000. That's how we got this total $4,000 income number. Gotta say though, with income, I am trying to get myself to budgeting where I have $4,000 per month personal money. Anything else goes towards taxes. I recently learned a lesson with taxes. Hint, I owed, was not ready. And we'll talk about that another time. Maybe in a weekly actually, we will probably talk about that in the next video we do like this because it comes out of my October budget, or it's like there in my October budget. But I'm trying to move towards paying myself $4,000. I know how much I'm going to get, and then giving myself about $1,000 business money per month. And anything I make over that just gets stashed away for taxes. And if by some miracle we don't owe that money for taxes, then we have more money to put into the business at the end of the year, or maybe plan a fun vacation. Let's keep the dream alive. I don't know. But I am putting $4,000 as my total income. I think I don't have all of this hashed out just yet, exactly how I would like to be uploading these to you guys, but I really want to be transparent in these videos, but also not make them confusing. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is just showing myself as a payout from Etsy, at least for the foreseeable future, whether it's Etsy or my own personal website or whatever, like giving myself $4,000 from the business. I think in the weekly recaps for my personal income, it will always reflect $4,000. $4,000 is what I made as long as I make that much, you know? But I am aiming for $4,000 for myself every single month as my income goal. And then when we talk about the business budget is I think when we will break down the complete numbers. Like, this is how much I made from Etsy. This is how much I made from this. This is how much I made from that. So it will show that I made more than $4,000, ideally, hopefully, crossing fingers. It has been a struggle over here. But do you understand what I'm saying? Let me know in the comments if you follow that train of thought. I think these weekly personal recaps will always say $4,000. And then whenever we do the business recap, like once a month, those spreadsheets will reflect actually what I made and where I made it from. So we're working with a total income of $4,000. I think that is realistic. Okay, sorry, I keep losing the lighting. I think, I was just saying $4,000 is a realistic goal for me of how much I need to cover all the things. And that includes like holidays. And, ideally we will be cash stuffing and getting ahead on these things. But right now I'm kind of paying things as they go. So my total income was 4,000. My total in bills that includes my mortgage, my electric, and my medical. My medical at this time, I am uninsured. I am uninsured currently. So my medical is, I have it written down as $30, which was just for my thyroid medicine. Oh, no, it's not. I know what this is. Okay, thyroid medicine was only $10 this month because I got the off-brand. Medical was for, I was testing out, they had like an online, you can pay $30 a month and they will like virtual visit you if you have an emergency. I was testing that out. I didn't stick with it, but it is an expense that happened for September for me and for October. Car insurance, I paid $91. Amazon Prime, I did keep that. I pay $15. My car is only $410 or $405, but I paid $500. I was trying to get ahead. You'll see in my October spreadsheet, I basically paid $100 towards October because in October I could only afford like the $300. Phones, homeschool curriculum. I'm still paying for a homeschool curriculum for my boys. This is another one of those. Ideally, I would have bought it outright, but I did do a purchase in sections kind of thing. So this is an ongoing bill for me for the next few months for this school year for the boys. Phones, $37. Violin rental for one of my sons is $25. Cutting grass. I did have someone coming to cut grass. I live in Iowa, so apparently here, grass cutting season is just like for a time, right? Like in Mississippi, it's the whole year, but I no longer have this expense, but I did pay $40 for one last grass cut in September. And then we moved also, and the new property I'm at is much larger. So we just had to collectively, I'm here on a property. My parents have a house, I have a house, and this workshop. So collectively, we are cutting our own grass. I say collectively, right now my dad is doing it. I imagine at some point my boys are going to take over, but we have a riding lawnmower now. So that is not an expense I will have anymore, thank goodness. Netflix, I do pay $25 per month. I love Netflix. So my total bills is $1,866. That number might fluctuate a little bit because I think I might have skipped it, but electric is or was 183. I wrote on here that I paid it for the 1st and the 27th. I don't typically have 2 electric bills, but I had kind of like one starting bill from like 2 days last month. So I had like a $10 bill and then a $173 bill. So that's a once a month thing. I think this next month it's like 140. So anyway, those numbers might fluctuate a little bit, but that's the basics of my bills for the month here in Iowa. Okay, sorry. Do I look like the wind has like taken me away? Because I went outside to talk to one of my kids, and it is so windy here in Iowa, y'all. Okay, spending overview. I don't know what I was talking about before I left, but basics is my bills total 1,866 for this last month, and they should continue to total under 2,000, like about that amount. My spending overview here says that my bills in comparison to my expenses were 42% for bills and then 57% for expenses. So that was all of my bills. As far as my expenses go, these numbers are all totaling off of what am I clicking on? All of these numbers, these actual numbers, are totaling from the numbers that are down here. So every week I just went in, and if I spent in that category, I wrote it down. So to talk about like a quick overview of what I actually spent on, and then we can talk about the categories. You guys can see the amounts that I spent per week here. So I'm not going to go through all of these necessarily one by one because we're going to talk about the total in just a minute. But I do want to talk about, because like one of my categories is boys, for example. And on week 1, I spent $529 on just like the boys category. That's just for my 2 sons. It was my oldest son's birthday week at the start of September. So total, I spent $529. That included birthday expenses, haircuts, and shoes for both of them. Week 1, we also bought a water purifier here in Iowa. The only thing that gets out, is it nitrates or nitrites? I'm still confused, but it's a thing here. And the only way to get rid of them in your drinking water is to get a reverse osmosis water purifier. So I bought one of those, and I had a small delivery for the guinea pigs. That's what that GPS is. So the water purifier was the bulk of that expense for $273. However, I was spending so much money on bottled water, and I have not bought bottled water since that expense. So I'm feeling like it was very worth it. Week 1, we also had a homeschool expense. These lines are a little off over here because I wrote mortgage, electric, medical, and meds. Maybe this week is when I paid for those bills. I don't know why I wrote it like that. I did pay for car insurance and Prime as well. I don't know why that's listed there, to be completely honest. For spending, I spent $16 just randomly on meal prep glass jars. I don't know. I have so many plastic jars. I don't know why I was having a crunchy moment and felt like I needed glass jars, but for whatever reason on week 2, I did. I am not necessarily trying to keep any of these categories low. I will say spending, though, if I have just general spending, that means I did not budget for it. So ideally, I suppose I would like to keep those numbers low. Overall, though, I did not think this month was bad or like off budget by too much. I did have $24 spending on the boys because I bought violin books and some tape to go on the violin for one of my sons. Some random spending was on candy and a shower curtain. The shower curtain was needed. The candy was not. I spent $42, and probably half of that was a candy stock up for the boys. Not needed, not healthy, but whatever, it happened. And then the only other, 2 more noteworthy things as far as like random spending was I put $63 for some stuff for the guinea pigs, some pins, and then a Hobby Lobby purchase. It was probably stickers for my planner because that's the thing that I do. And then at the end of the month, I did spend on getting one of my boys. I did buy them shoes at the start of the month, but then at the end of the month, one of my boys broke his Crocs, which are just like the easy shoes that we all have Crocs to wear around the house and around the property, and his broke. So he got more. And then we got kites because it's very windy here and it seems like a fun thing to do. So overall, I will say a good month. I think this, so this little percentage thing is something else that just kind of auto populates. I spent 300 and, okay. So here are the numbers over here, and then here's the percentages. So I suppose if we go through the percentages over here, Can I zoom in on this? That's sort of let's like zoom in, if you will. So where most of my money goes, we will start with the largest percentage and kind of work our way around. So I spent $848, which was 30% of my spending money. Again, not bills, just like spending expenses. I spent 848 or 30% of my spending money on groceries and fast food, which I don't think is bad. My goal with groceries and fast food is really I would like to be able to lump them together and spend less than 1,000, but my goal is 800. Some people think that that is a ton of money and some people don't know how I would manage that. And I totally get it because groceries is something that's unique to everybody. I personally do not see how somebody could spend less than $1,000 a month if you have a family. I do have two boys and they eat, I don't know, like if the only way to get it cheaper, I really feel like, because I don't buy expensive meats, I don't buy a lot of junk food. We do buy a lot of salad stuff because me and my kids all enjoy salads. We buy a lot of fruit because my boys suck down fruit like immediately. So we buy a lot of fruits and vegetables, but we don't splurge on expensive meats. We don't splurge on junk food. I don't know. I have no idea how people are getting it down more. I did discover Aldi. So I've been loving Aldi the last few months. And I feel like before Aldi, I was probably spending way more than that. But I only started tracking these last couple of months again. That sentence was worded weird. I only started tracking again these last couple of months because I took some time away from doing that. So I don't know, but Aldi, there's some general shopping around that I'm doing. Unless I figure out couponing, which I would love to do, but unless I figure that out, I don't see how I could get it any cheaper. Okay, boys' expenses was 21% for the month, which again, it was a birthday month for us. So that number also does not surprise me. Other spending, what did I classify as other? Oh, the water purifier. That was the main other. So $273 for other, which is mostly a water purifier. Homeschooling was 74% or $74 and 2% of some of my spending. And that is not counting the curriculum. That's like, I don't know if that was like a random adventure or some like, what was it? I didn't write it here. So without my planner, which maybe I'll have that on hand and ready next time because that has like more details on it. I don't know what that is, but it could have been an outing. It could have been kind of anything. Cash stuffing or debt in 1 month ahead. I put $300 on here. I really slacked last month with the cash stuffing. I ended up pulling all of that money and putting it um, towards debt anyway. So it was kind of a wash. Car for the gas. No, gas for the car. I spent $55 last month, which I thought I spent way more. I thought I spent like $100 a month on gas, but the more I've been tracking and paying attention to it, I don't spend that much money on gas. Interest, that is interest on credit cards, and I'm including it in my spending money because when I get when I get my cards paid off, which is not like I typically don't have debt sitting on cards. That's something that's new to me once we moved here. But once I get those cards paid off, that's $123 that is back in my budget and not like I wouldn't be paying interest. And I thought it was important to put here too, because you can see like that's almost 5% of my spending money. And that would free us up for like more homeschool adventures and different things. Okay, a couple more categories. Spending, I spent almost 5%, $134, which was like for the guinea pigs and some random things. As we do this more, I would like to put like give guinea pigs their own category. There's some categories that are definitely missing, but like I said, I just kind of started doing these budgets and breaking it down this way the last couple of months. So I imagine it's going to get a little bit more fleshed out and a little better as I do this more. Gifts, that was not for my son, but for like friends and family, like random gifting for other people. Okay, let me kind of zoom us back out here. Okay. Okay. So I think that is pretty much it for this video. I'm just kind of checking to make sure. I did go over once you combined like my work expenses, which really everything in this spreadsheet is broken into a bills category and expenses. But for this month in particular, I did include work expenses, which was a very low work expense month, but it was only like $319. I think I needed just bare minimum materials like shipping materials. It's typically more than that. But as you can see, I went $376 over my monthly budget of $4,000. But again, 319 of those dollars was work expenses. And I just went over a little bit. That's not so bad considering it was a birthday month for us. I did not include really like the savings for cash stuffing here. And I did not include my debt on this one because I need to go back. I was really hopeful when I kind of worked out this spreadsheet for this month. I was like, oh, I'm getting rid of all the debt. This month it did not happen. So when we catch up next and do this again for our October budget, we will be doing a like weekly October budget next, but we might go through and like talk about expenses from October week 1 and 2 and 3. We're at the end of October. So anyway, it won't be a full month of October, but instead of just a normal weekly, which is what I'm working towards, doing weekly updates, we will kind of like catch up to present day, which is the first, like most of October. No debt there. Let's see. This is the totals and the percentages. Spending overview. Oh, I guess this is the only thing left on the spreadsheet, which is what my budgeted for bills are, and then what my expenses were, and then the totals. So my total budgeted and was really just to stay under $4,000. What my actual was $4,376. So I did go a little bit over, but we will not stress too much about that. That will not help anything. But I hope that you guys enjoyed a video like this. Let me know what you think. Definitely, again, go down below and comment. Let me know if you think you need to see more of me and me like talking with my hands, because that is kind of a staple on this channel, or if this was fine. And let me know if you can see the numbers fine and everything. As always, though, I appreciate you guys so much. I love you, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.